Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Good. I want to start off talking about your Vogue interview.
Okay.
You did a recent Vogue interview and you said, I'm going to look at this to get it down right, but you were talking about women in the music industry. And you said if you want to make it in the music industry, you have to be sexy and people have to want your body. So can you talk to me about the expectations?
I believe that that's the way to make it easily.
Right.
I think that you can definitely make a place for yourself without doing that, but it's an uphill climb. And, you know, there's always been a little bit of that or a lot of that in culture, not just music business or anything. But right now specifically, I feel like there's a poor representation of all different types of women in music, and particularly in pop music. Okay. And I do feel like the most prominent image that we're seeing is of women without a lot of clothes on, like just flaunting like all their assets, you know, physical assets. I'm not like, hide your ass. Yeah. But it shouldn't be the only thing of every artist that's performing that you're seeing, you know? And I feel like that's where we're at. I feel like women are feeling like that's the main way to like get attention. You know, every time you see like people on the cover of a magazine, they're either naked, almost naked, whatever. I feel like other people who aren't about that should be given a platform as well. Because there are many women who don't feel like that's all they have to offer, or feel like they want to highlight a different aspect of what they're doing. Yeah. I want to, you know what I mean? I don't feel like I want to do that. You know, I want people to like my music and pay attention to my music or my ideas, and my art. And it's not that I'm like against like showing my body, but like I don't feel like I need to do that to get attention. Or I don't feel like I want to do that to get attention. I might need to do that to get attention.
When we talk about gender equality in this country and around the world, we often focus on pay gaps, wage gaps, you know, how much women get compensated versus men. Is this something that you have seen in the music industry, either personally or through colleagues or acquaintances, that, you know, from an artist or band member or production staff, like that women are not getting compensated as much as men? Is there any version of that in your industry?
I don't really know how much people get paid. I know very few people that get salaries in my industry, so it's a little bit different. But I will say this, it's so rare that I see a woman in the studio as a producer, almost never. Like, even if as an engineer, I'm like excited, you know? So
when you see a female engineer, what tell me about that excitement? What happened?
Maybe one time it's happened, you know? And it's just like, I mean, there just aren't women in there, you know? I'm always excited. I mean, I honestly like almost have, I don't even remember. Like, I remember seeing one time being excited. I don't have one that I can name that I've ever worked with. I've been in the music industry for like nearly 20 years, you know? So it's a very male-dominated environment, especially in the studio and working on music. Yeah. And coming in a long time ago when I was a lot younger and less experienced, I ran into lots of situations where like people wouldn't know what to do with me because I'm really opinionated, I have my own ideas, and I don't settle for less when it comes to my music, you know? So you get in with a producer and they start talking to you like you're dumb, and like, not all of them obviously, but like when you encounter this type of producer, and like you don't really have an idea what you want. Because I think they're used to people just kind of being shuttled in there, especially women. If you're not writing your songs, if you're not getting your publishing, you're obviously not gonna get the money. If you're not doing good deals, and you might not know about your deals, you're not gonna get paid equally. And so, also, I know that women are brought up differently than men socially. You know, I'm not necessarily talking about parenting, but like social roles in society. And I know even myself, like I even went to an all-girls school at one point.
For how long?
8 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 8 years. And so there's things that I even have from then that I have to like really be conscious of, and like, you know, the desire to sort of please and placate people and make people feel comfortable.
You think you got that from your all-girls experience? Yeah.
For sure, you know, and to like just be polite, not hurt people's feelings, not like, you know, whatever. These are things, I mean, I also have the other extreme. My mother's from down south and she's wild. And she, so like, you know, if you rub me wrong, the whole other thing comes out, but I do have this other thing. So it's like, I think that we're more like, oh, you know, like, I want to ask for this, but like, I'm good kind of with, you know, what I have, and like, I just want it all to work out, you know? Yeah. Whereas men are like, you know, just broadly speaking, more inclined to ask for what they want, go for it, feel like they can even in sports, you know what I mean? Like, I played sports. I think sports are important for women.
Okay.
Because there's a certain relying on yourself and pushing yourself to the extreme and just knowing that you can do more than you think you can do and all that stuff. Anyway, I think that transfers into all kinds of things, in life. And so I think just, part of it, why women feel less comfortable asking for things or whatever, comes back to roles that that we're taught to play. But more and more women are no, this is what I want, you know, and are being met with not open arms a lot of times. And I think that that's a really, really big problem.
You talked about roles and what's acceptable and what's pursued, and we have a woman pursuing one of the top roles in the world right now, in Hillary Clinton, running for president against Donald Trump. And this has brought up even more issues of treatment, disparate treatment of genders. How do you think about this election in the context of gender equality or gender inequality in the U.S.?
Well, obviously, I think it's brought out a lot of the issues, which is the same thing when Barack Obama ran and it brought out race issues. I mean, she's a woman, and so there's a lot of people who are like, a woman, and she can do no wrong to those people. And then there's a lot of people who are like, a woman, she's not even strong enough to be the president, Then there's Donald Trump, who's he's just the king of saying the wrong thing. But to some people, it's the right thing, apparently. But so he's just said all kinds of disparaging things about women and disgusting things that basically you would expect to hear from all the misogynistic people in the world. So they've all been sort of voiced by him and by other people, which is expected when you have a woman president, which is more than that. It's expected when you have somebody stepping into uncharted territory, no matter whether it's a woman running for president, no matter if it's gay rights, if it's civil rights, if it's anything that people are afraid of, it brings out the worst in people because they're terrified. So I think that a lot of the gender issues coming right now are because people are terrified that we're actually about to hopefully step over a huge, break a glass ceiling and enter new territory that's uncharted. But then aside from that, you have Hillary as a person. So then there's all these things that people want to dump on her being a woman too, but she's just a person too. So then you've got that. It's can you carry the entire gender on your shoulders, or are you just who you are? And then there's, it's a lot. It's a heavy thing.
Do you ever feel that pressure as someone such a veteran of the music industry and a woman with success? No,
I don't. I don't feel pressure about what people expect me to be, I don't think. That's one gift that I have, except for maybe when I go on social media, which is partially why I don't go on social media. I don't take that on too much. I don't know if that's true. In some ways I do, but not there, and not on what people want me to make musically, stuff like that. It is hard though, looking at all the beauty things that people are doing and not being I should be doing this, just because you're on camera so much now that it's, and the pictures last forever. Do you know what I mean? So that part is weird for me. I have all these, I grew up with women who didn't care about that and didn't look like that. And during Riot Girl and Queen Latifah and Salt and Pepper and just all these women, pretenders who just were tough and cool and exactly who they were. So that's kind of in my DNA. But if you grew up now and you don't have any of that, and you're only seeing these women who are just trying to be sexy, and that's all that they're putting out there as an option.
It's the age of the selfie, right?
Yeah. It's really challenging.
You have a 2-year-old, yes?
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
A boy.
How do you think about raising him in this unequal gender world?
In this unequal gender world, I try to go around thinking things are the way that I want them to be, rather than thinking every day well, it's not fair for me, so I'm gonna do this. I am just this is what I wanna do and this is what I'm gonna do. And I don't think about the problems I might encounter. And then when I encounter them, I'm kind of a beast, you know what I mean? I'm just So I think that the best thing I could do for raising a child is to teach them to be really, really strong in their confidence and their belief that they can do anything or be anything that they want to be. I think that's the most important thing that you can teach a child, and that the world can be anything that they want it to be, and that they have a really powerful voice and the ability to create change. I mean, that's the
You should
parent's
raise
job.
all the children.
I should raise all the children. I should.
That's beautiful.
But I mean, I think that's the job of a parent, to make a child feel that safe and that supported, that they can develop into that belief, you know? Whether a boy or girl, black, white, Asian, anything, you know, they should believe that they can be and do anything they want, and they should believe that it's a safe place to do that.